Do you have someone that you look up to? Perhaps another small business owner that seems to be doing everything right. They've got the thriving business, the epic lifestyle, the free time, the family. They seem to have it all. Well, let me tell you this. These paragons of entrepreneurship aren't special by any means. Instead, they just learned how to master what we call the flywheel system. And with a bit of work, you can do the same as well. Hi, my name is Will and I make small businesses more profitable. Now, in today's game changer, hopefully, of a video, we're talking about a business revolutionizing concept and we call it the flywheel system. In this video, we're going to cover what it is, what the flywheel system is, what it means for you in terms of owning your small business, and the 3 steps that you need to take before you can start spinning yours up. Then we're going to take a look at what happens when you start to gain momentum. What are the benefits of putting time and effort into developing the flywheel system? And let me tell you this, there's more to it here than just growing your business's bottom line. Instead, it's all about the one thing that unites all small business owners, and we'll talk more on that in a little bit. Then after that, we're going to get into the meat of it all, how to speed up your own flywheel. And there are 2 concepts here in particular that we're going to cover. First, doing less but doing it better. And then we're going to take a look at 3 actionable ways that you can do just that. And also improving your product, which covers 2 high impact ways that you can make more money than ever before. So, alrighty, there's plenty to get stuck into, so let's get things rocking and rolling. Now, if you've been a small business owner for longer than a week or 2, you know how much hard work you've got to put in to make profit. Owners like you regularly find themselves working 60, 80 hours a week just to keep the doors open. Vacations, well, you know, if you're hustling, they're not going to happen anytime soon. So it's no wonder why many small businesses go under before even really finding their footing in the marketplace. In fact, about 1 out of 5 small businesses are going to fail within the first year. Go by year number 5, and half of those organizations have disintegrated. They've gone under. 10 years in, the numbers are even more dire. 2 out of 3 organizations have gone kaput. Now, part of the reason for this crazy failure rate comes down to systems. Most businesses just don't learn how to develop the right systems that keep them healthy through both the good times and the bad. And so they crumble. But by leveraging a flywheel system, you can build enough momentum for your business that it keeps earning even when you're not around. Even when there's a looming recession, it just takes a little bit of work to set up front. So let's start with the obvious question that you're probably asking yourselves right now. What the heck is a flywheel system anyway? Well, a flywheel system is essentially a metaphor for the hard work that you've got to do in your business. The more strategic work that you put in right now, the easier it's going to be for your business to grow, thrive, and be healthy even in the worst of times. So let me break down this metaphor and make it a bit more visual. Imagine a giant, lumbering, heavy steel wheel. Now, this giant wheel takes a lot of effort to get spinning, to get turning on its axis. You've got to really pull it down hard to get it to spin. But once you get it spinning, its own weight and that momentum keeps it going and going and going. The harder that you pull, the more effort that you put in at first, the longer and faster it spins when you stop turning it. And of course, with all this momentum, it doesn't matter what gets in front of it, this wheel is going to keep spinning regardless. So in terms of your own business, putting in the work right now is going to set you up for success later. And there are 3 things in particular that you can do to get your flywheel system spinning. First off, you've got to understand your market. That means plotting out your unique buyer's journey, tailoring a value proposition that turns heads and books meetings, and getting a fix on your numbers. What customer acquisition rate do you need to be profitable? And how does that translate to your daily efforts? If you're spending all of your time messing around with fancy marketing, the color of the product, all this kind of stuff, your flywheel is never going to go anywhere. You need to understand the market and start taking action in the market with your value proposition, with cold outreach, with warm outreach, whatever you're doing to get the flywheel spinning. Which leads us on to the next step. You've got to connect with buyers. So what kind of outreach systems do you need to start using today to get this flywheel spinning, to get you through this oncoming recession that everyone's talking about and obviously is on the horizon for most small business owners? What are the best channels for getting in front of the right type of customer, your ideal client, not just any schmo, your ideal customer persona? And are you continually tweaking and improving your outreach or advertising to maximize your success rates? There's a lot of work to be done up front here, but it's well worth putting in the time to master this step because that's how you get the wheel spinning. And there's one final piece of the puzzle that a lot of small business owners fail on, and that is what we call explaining the value. Because just putting a customer in front of your product is not enough. You need to know how to diagnose your buyers' problems, educate them on the features and benefits of the problem, and then upsell them to your other products if you're going to start raking in referrals and, of course, profits. Now, once you've done all of that, you've got a bit of momentum with your flywheel, and you can start to get spinning faster and faster with a few things that we're going to talk about in just a second. But first, let's take a look at what happens when you start to gain that little bit of momentum. What is the benefit of going through this process in the first place? Well, first and foremost, more momentum leads to more momentum. The speed comes easier once you put that momentum into the system. And this is a good thing for you. This stops competitors just starting up and taking all your customers. Getting things started in the world of small businesses takes a lot of work. Trust me, I'm in the same boat building this business, psbo.com, and growing and maintaining salesman.org and our training program over there as well. But once you do get your flywheel system spinning, well, it's far easier to gain speed, and you'll find that smaller decisions tend to lead to bigger momentum over time. Success comes faster and easier than before, and your business is going to grow more and more quickly with less and less effort. The next benefit, and this is for small business owners specifically, right? You can start to take a little bit of time off. And I know that's a weird thought, right? I mean, let me ask you this. Genuinely, when was the last time you took a vacation? So I'm not talking about going to the beach for a few days and being glued to your phone, it's still stuck right in front of your face. Or going away to the forest or the wilderness or wherever you like to go on your vacations, but you take your laptop with you. When was the last time you completely turned off from the business and from work? For most small business owners, this might have been months, years, or even decades ago. And one of the most common complaints I get when I train small business owners on how to turn their business into a profit-making machine is that they feel like they've got a lack of free time. And everything they do, everything that they think about is about the business. But the best thing about a flywheel system is that when you step away from your business, the flywheel keeps spinning, it keeps earning, it keeps growing, it keeps thriving. And you ready for this? You can do all of this without you. That means you can spend more time with your family, focus on your hobbies, and ultimately live a happier, more fulfilling life, which was probably the whole point in starting the small business in the first place. Now, the last benefit is a big one too. With a flywheel system, you can power up new flywheels. So all that extra time on your hands, once you've got this momentum, once you've got the flywheel spinning, you can then explore new areas of growth. If you've got a new product line that you've really wanted to launch, you can start a flywheel for it. You want to expand into a new market? Start the flywheel. You're looking to diversify your income streams and you want to start a completely new business altogether? Then use the flywheel that you've already got. Because once you've got revenue, once you've got customers, once you've got a system to bring new customers into your product or service, then you just use either that revenue or those customers on your next product or service. And then the same again, and the same again, and the same again. You can end up over the course of a decade or two, 27 different flywheels, all somewhat independently, bringing in momentum, but they've all been started by this core big flywheel that was the genesis of the original small business. And the possibilities here are literally endless. All right. So, with all that said, how do you start to speed up your flywheel once you've used the advice at the top of this video to get things moving? Well, there are two ways in particular that you should look at this, no matter what industry you're in, whether it's a product or service, B2B, B2C. First off, you've got to do less, but you've got to do it better. And a lot of businesses suffer because they're just trying to do too much crap all at once. And eventually, whether through burnout or the fact that you've just got rubbish products, the business is going to suffer. Instead, you need to focus your business. Pick on the things that are working and really double down on them. You can do this by narrowing down your business niche. So who are your most profitable customers? Focus on those individuals. Who are the people that you can really add genuinely now tons of value to profitably? These are the only people that you should be targeting. Everyone else, they're a waste of your time and energy. Number two, focus your product offerings. Now, if you're doing less than 1 million in revenue right now and you've got more than one product, you probably need to cut everything down and focus on the one thing that is profitable. Most small business owners don't like to hear this because a lot of small business owners, like myself, are creatives. We want to experiment, we want to build stuff. Like 80% of the now that the flywheel is going in psbo.com and also at salesman.org, both my organizations, the flywheel is going, so I don't have to worry too much about revenue and growth and all that kind of stuff. So I want to spend all my time building new things, creating. But if you're doing less than 1 million in revenue, Everything else is wasting your time, your effort, and resources. Get the flywheel spinning, get to $1 million+ revenue, and then you can start experimenting. And finally, again, if you are driving less than $1 million in revenue right now, you should reduce your customer acquisition channels. Focus all of your marketing efforts on a single marketing avenue. Salesman.org, we got to 1 million in sales. We're just doing crappy from this room. Which is a spare bedroom in my house, right? We got to 1 million in revenue from just doing podcasts alone. Now, let me ask you this. Are you on YouTube? Are you doing podcasts? Do you do TikTok? Do you do Facebook? Are you doing Google advertising? Do you have an outsourced marketing or outsourced sales agency working on your behalf? Are you doing event sponsorships? Are you doing cold outreach? You don't need all of these channels. Suss out what works and do more of it. And reduce the experiments, again, until you're at 1 million in revenue, and then you can start to diversify some of this. Now, the second way of speeding up your flywheel once it's spinning is by, dead simple this one. This is a no-brainer. Hopefully you can probably predict this one and see it coming. I want you to improve your product. And there are two major ways that you can do that. First off is by focusing on the customer, because better customer outcomes is always going to accelerate the flywheel, basically more than anything else. Once you've got a few customers and you can give them amazing results like what we do over at psbo.com with our accelerator program, that leads small business owners who have success to jump in, go through the program and introduce us to other small business owners that they think we can help as well. In fact, we only need to get a handful of small business owners into the program each year with our marketing efforts and videos like this that we post on YouTube and on the podcast channel. And then they lead to another 5 or 6, which leads to another 20, at least leads to another 30. And then we become oversubscribed just because the product is effective. Customer outcomes from the success of your product is really what moves the needle once you've got that bit of momentum in the flywheel in the first place. Now, I'm not talking about adding more features, more services, any other crap that your customers will pay for but will never actually use. I mean doing more of whatever it takes to get your buyers to go, hell yeah. Let me repeat that. I want you to implement things, do services, do coaching, whatever it is, whatever you need to do that makes your buyer goes, hell yeah, that was well worth the investment in cash and energy to get started working with you. And the best way to uncover those hell yeah experiences is by listening to your customers. Ask them, what do they love about your product? What do they hate? And what do they like about your competitors that you're not currently doing? This is cheesy, this is old school, but customer surveys, getting testimonials, online reviews, these are all absolute gold for small business owners who want to build a flywheel and increase the velocity of it over time. So, see what the word is, and then use that information to make your product or service better. And the last way to increase the velocity of your flywheel by improving your product is by productizing a service. So let me ask you this. This is the burden of most small business owners. Are you having to spend all of your time one-on-one servicing your customers to make ends meet? Well, what happens when you're ill or there's an emergency or one customer takes up way too much time than what they should and you don't have enough time to get in front of other customers? Well, your flywheel at that point breaks down. It falls off the big pole that it's spinning on and just causes chaos by rolling around the office. The business at this point is stuck if you're not there to implement the service. Now, one way you can prevent this is by productizing at least one part of the value that you provide to your customers. So for instance, my sales training business over at salesman.org, we have what's called Selling Made Simple Academy. It has both online training and group coaching calls. So we productize the service by allowing the students to go through the training at their own pace with the online training, but they need the coaching calls as well to be able to ask questions with me, the team, engage with each other, implement new best practices, to explain and share in-depth selling concepts that may be specific to an individual as opposed to something that we can do a training on for everyone. But what this split enables between productizing part of the business with the online training videos and workshops and all that good stuff is it allows me to coach a handful of people in a few hours each week, whilst thousands of other salespeople are logging in and going through the training in parallel to this. If I had to train every single individual person, there would just not be, I'd have to hire 25 other sales trainers who have the skill set and the ability that I have to do the training and have the knowledge on what works in the marketplace. That would make the business instantly unprofitable. So this allows me to train thousands of salespeople every quarter whilst just doing a handful of coaching sessions every single week. The flywheel keeps spinning even when I'm not in the office. If I have to cancel a coaching session, everyone's fine, no one's complaining, and everything still moves forward. And the freedom that this has given me to focus on growing and expanding the current business and then starting psbo.com as well means that we can leverage the flywheel that we've got with all this revenue and this momentum to start other projects, which is exciting, right? So that's a long-winded way of saying, hey, can you offer online video training rather than doing it one-on-one over Zoom? Can you offer an ebook or virtual training rather than going into the office and training the person on that capital piece of equipment they've just bought from you? There is tons of potential here. You just need to lay out how your customers use your service and then think what parts of this can be automated. And soon you're going to find that you've got more time to do the things that you love, including expanding your business. So there you have it, the flywheel system and all of its glory. And when you apply this system to how you run your business, you're going to find yourself having more time, growing faster, and being more profitable than you ever expected. And if you enjoyed this video, why not click the video that's on the screen right now and continue making your small business more profitable.